Good evening, everybody. I'm Constantine, and welcome back to Monarchist Minute. Tonight, I am here with Leon Krolewski and J.K. Baltzersen. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm
Uh,
fine.
I'm doing all right.
Alrighty, glad to hear it. It's been a couple months since we've recorded last, so we have naturally a lot to talk about. Namely the 250th anniversary of our great country. How is everybody feeling about that?
I have mixed feelings about that here from Oslo, Norway.
Yes, I figured. Given that you are not an American, I really would like to hear your perspective on the matter.
Yeah, you want to do it? You want me to do it now?
Yes, of course. Yeah, anytime's good.
Yeah. Oh, I uh, I grew up in Nairobi, partly,
Okay.
and I went to this American-dominated international school. And in fifth grade, we had American history, and we were taught about the Constitution and Abraham Lincoln, who saved the Union, etc., etc. And as time went by and I got older, I got this hunch that there's more to it than this is just such some great thing that happened to the world. And there is more nuance to it than the American Revolution gave liberty to the world. And I've been following LouRockwell.com for quite some years, and I've even written for LRC myself. And I came across Gary North, who said that the American colonies or the colonies in North America that at that time was part of the British Empire was the freest society in the world before the revolution, and that the revolution created British tyranny in America, and that taxes started to rise shortly after the revolution. And I also came across this writer for LouRockwell.com by the name of Becky Akers, and both Gary North and Becky Akers are deceased. Becky Akers wrote a couple of historical novels, one on Benedict Arnold, and she made the case that Benedict Arnold understood that the side that he eventually supported when after switching sides would make things worse. And if you read the Sage of Baltimore's take on the revolution in a book that he released in the 1920s, Prejudice, Prejudices, number three, I think it was. He says that the new regime was more dishonest, more expensive, and more tyrannical than the regime it replaced. So, and oftentimes you hear the conflict between the British and the loyalists and the so-called patriots. It's presented as a conflict between stability and loyalty on one side, and of course those heroic American patriots, they fought for liberty. But there's more to it than that. The loyalists often thought that the new regime would be more would be a regime that would be less for liberty. And the great American historian Gordon S. Wood, was who specialized on the American Revolution, said that the revolution almost created eminent domain. And he reports in one of his texts that the American after the American Revolution, the first decade after the Revolution, there was produced more legislation that the entire in in those colonies or the states colonies than the entire colonial period, and that James Madison himself had complained about this. And so things are more nuanced than it often is presented. And of course, the regime that the colonists revolted against was a rather mild tyranny, if you even can call it tyranny. And to have a war against such a regime also gives you the cost of war. And that's a summary of sorts of what you can what you can come up with when Americans say, "Hey, this was the great revolution that gave liberty to America and the world."
That's definitely a way
Interest.
of looking at it.
Yes, what an interesting argument, Leon. If you want to go ahead with your thoughts now, it would be more than good for you to do that as well.
I
So
mean, right. I mean, I'm not even. I'll be honest. I was kind of underwhelmed by like the this past 4th of July. Like, not necessarily because of anything political. I don't know. It felt underwhelmed. It felt like it should have been this great like once in a lifetime thing. And it was just like I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't have my power was out for the weekend because of like all like the terrible heat waves and the storms, or the fact
oh
that there
yeah,
were
the
not a
great
lot of fireworks.
the great Michigan heat wave that knocked out power for half the state. We love DTE over here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a personal aside. I mean, I think it was very. I think it was tragic how polarized uh, the celebrations were to begin with, just because it's the idea of celebrating this great milestone under President Trump was like taken as this like ride or die issue that just it shouldn't have been. Though with all things, with everything within like the democratic political sphere, it becomes a whole like you have a politicized mess. I mean,
And you
thinking back
have
to the
all
rip.
these
Oh god.
you have these no kings rallies also, and it's supposedly against Trump. And of course,
Well, that's because the left is not smart.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
just
they
because the
just
left in this country is as schizophrenic as the guy behind the 7-Eleven in my town, dude. That the
well, no, the
the
guy
left has
behind
gone insane.
the guy at your 7-Eleven is part of left, so it's.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking about the crackhead behind the 7-Eleven.
No, I understand that. I'm saying that I'm saying the left is made up of crackheads and schizophrenics.
No, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, my thoughts on it for the celebration in particular. It kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Where was the like the whole big parades and stuff that we had when Gerald Ford was president and we did the bicentennial? Where was all that? That would have been awesome. We should have like military parades. Everything should have been awesome. But
Part of me
no,
wants to part of me wants to say that's because like they didn't have the internet back then, so everyone gave like 110% to like anything they did, any like projects, and now everyone is kind of like how well, I think a lot of people in like today have this mentality of like what is like the least amount I can do to pass so I can maximize my amount of like just self-indulgence, just like
we call that we you see that a lot in leftist circles as well. We call that slacktivism. Basically, what is the bare minimum I can do to support my cause? Whether it be putting a Palestinian flag in your bio or a communist hammer and sickle in your name. Like, it's literally just the bare minimum besides being annoying on Twitter. Like, these people don't
and
go out and do anything. These people don't, like, do anything. They go on Twitter, they say, oh, America bad because we built a military base on Pearl on an atoll in the Pacific to fight the Japanese. Like, real argument I saw, by the way. Apparently, that's fascist and imperialist because we
I
built
I
we built a military base on an uninhabited atoll. By the way,
I mean, a better example would have been like anything with the current Persian War, anything that
oh,
wasn't obscure, but yeah.
The same user also said us bombing Serbia to prevent Albanians and Bosnians from being genocided was bad, by the way.
Well,
Like,
no
what
one
a
knows what
hill
kind
to
of position
die
to
on.
take with the Yugoslavs.
Like, what a hill to die on, dude. Like, yeah, no, we preventing Serbia from killing hundreds of thousands of Albanians is a bad thing. That, and you know what? Not that I am big on the whole world police thing that we have assumed upon ourselves, but if we're gonna do it, we got to do it well. Okay, like if we're gonna do it, we got to at least do a good job. Like Serbia, Albania, for example, that's good. Iraq and Afghanistan, yeah, not so much.
But like, here's the issue though: is that like people don't. If what I mean, I agree that we forced ourselves into that position, but like people don't like people, i.e., those in power or those in the public who don't want America to be the world's policeman don't are gonna do as much as possible to make sure that we don't do that role, which reinforces us being a shitty world's policeman. Like we're obligated to do it, but we're gonna do the least amount possible. So I mean, you can't really have that kind of. I'm just saying your logic there is really just not possible. I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna give it my all. It's not like it's not what these people want. It's not how they think.
Wasn't that
And then
John
with that,
Quincy
the
Adams?
what was it? You said the lazy activism bit. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Blacktivism.
Obviously you can see it in the left, but I think it's more of just like a general like broader thing. Rather, maybe it's along like ages or like maybe types of communities like
No, no,
or
I
maybe
don't
both and all.
disagree. I will also say there are certain groups that they say, "Oh, we do this, this, and this." Yeah, but what does that do with furthering, anything you believe in? This could go to any group, like your communists or some of our colleagues, as it were, in this zone here.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
It's
John
like
Quincy Adams who, in his farewell address, warned against entangling alliances?
yeah, that was George Washington.
that was President Washington.
I think
That was also he also
also
noted on
Quincy
political
Adams.
parties. Oh, did
I bel
Quincy? Hold on, let me pull this up. Uh,
I can't imagine like John Christie Adams said this, considering that like he was part of a political party and stuff. And you're talking about like the second generation of this country at that point. Like,
I mean, let me see if I can find that.
regardless,
If you're referring to the Monsters to Destroy speech, that might be what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Where
Do
hmm,
not go abroad searching for monsters to destroy or something like that.
and that is an excellent argument against our world police stature. And while I understand that, there's a moral imperative to, do things like that, I also understand that we do not need to be dragging American citizens into every war in the middle of nowhere.
well, we don't do that because there's wars right now, and like, isn't the one in Burma, or the Sudan and the Congo? I mean, there's all these other
You
wars.
you you would be
It's only
naive to assume that the CIA doesn't have their hands
the
on that.
CIA does not count. The CIA
The CIA counts. The
it's a
CIA counts.
quasi-independent like agency. I
Yes,
mean,
and it counts. It's a foreign. It is an arm of American foreign
I
policy. Therefore,
but
it
it
counts.
doesn't matter because it's so closed off like the rest of the organism. It's not the military, the regular military. It's not the general public. It's probably not even any like the major like economic groups. I mean, probably a bit more, but still, you could argue the CIA. No, you're right. It is by technicality. It's an extension of American power, but the CIA does its own thing.
The CIA basically does whatever it wants without consequence, and
Yeah, the CIA does
that
whatever it wants on U.S. territory or on anyone
Uh,
else's territory. Therefore, I'm not. No one usually counts it when they're talking about like, oh, America needs to stop being entangled. They usually talk about, what about our military
like
assets? What
Iran
about
in
the
the
rest
Middle
of the general
East. Yeah,
public? Yeah, exactly.
EIA is the deep state, if anything is the deep state.
Yeah, CIA is by definition the deep state. Yeah,
Oh yeah, by
because
definition.
they just do whatever they want. They just do whatever they want. Like presidential approval be damned. Like they just do whatever.
Yeah, and they just lie to like all the presidents too because it's
Yeah, no, and then like 20 years from now, we'll declassify some documents about what happened in Iran, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we totally did that. What are you gonna do about it?" Like the state of this country on its 250th is. I think the founders would be rolling in their graves so much that you could probably power New York City off of it.
I
Like no, just the sheer kinetic energy could probably power the entire city of New York. Maybe even the state of New York. Just
maybe
oh,
yeah.
it's such a like the state of affairs in this country with I was talking to a friend about those Antifa guys who got arrested in I want to say it was Texas, somewhere in North Texas, and they all got like
Okay.
jailed sentences of like 30, 40, 50 years. I'm like, dude, they
Was
shot
that
a
North
cop.
Texas?
It was North Texas, yes. They shot a cop, and they tried to kill a cop, and they tried to bomb a federal like facility. My homeboy's like, "Why is this a federal court issue?" I'm like, "Dude, they tried to bomb a federal facility. That's going to be a federal court issue." But they didn't even do anything that wrong. They, they were attempted to bomb a federal
Yeah,
facility.
I,
It
I don't know.
like
I
if
don't
that
know
was a
who did that.
neo-Nazi group, that friend would be like, "Yeah, hang them all." Like,
Yeah,
what's the difference?
I mean, I obviously have no clue who this person you're talking who you're talking about because I mean we live hours away from each other and stuff. But it's like your friend is probably not the brightest person, and I don't say that with any like hate or
No, no,
passion
no.
in my voice. I think that's just an objective fact. So many people, and I'm talking just regular Joes and stuff. uh, They just don't. They like hear the first headline, whether it's on the phone or the news, and they just go with it. They just roll with it. They don't
The
look
average
any
American
deeper.
citizen is as uneducated civically as any foreigner on American law.
Oh yeah, no, I still remember in high school. My I forget if it was government or basic government or civics or something like that. But like we took like the U.S. citizenship test, and I was the only motherfucker who actually passed flying colors on that thing. All my classmates, like my 30 other classmates, was so fucking stupid.
If we could refrain from the language, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I understand the sentiment. Yeah, no, I was in an honors government class in high school, and I remember my teacher because when I was 16, I was not a good person. So when they had us take the political compass test or something equivalent, I scored so far in the authoritarian right that I was off the scale. I was off because like yeah, I'm pro life and yeah, we should be like interventionists. That's just what I was at that time. I was basically just like the most Republican person you can think of. Like it was actually kind of nuts.
When did you switch to monarchism?
Well, that's a long story. It was actually a little after that because it was that government class is right before COVID hit,
Mm.
and while I'd been investigating it pre-COVID, it's really post-COVID when I joined up here, and by here I mean the predecessor organization because this was 2020, not 2021 or 2022
It's
or
so
whenever
crazy to
this.
think that this how long ago the pandemic was.
Yeah, yeah, I'm an old man when it comes
Blasphemy.
to this place. I'm an old man when it comes to this place, but it's like, yeah, no, I swapped over to monarchism because namely the 2020 election. I was like, dude, the bread was stale and the circus was getting kind of boring. Like when you treat your national elections like it's an episode of Monty Python, Life of Brian. This is not that's not the way a country should function.
I,
We are
I
a serious country run by serious people, guys.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate that joke. Like I know we like, make it here all the time in Monarchist of America, but I truly do hate the what a serious country joke.
Oh no, I only say it ironically.
No,
Like
I
I only
know,
said that ironically because we're talking about just the absolute state of the 2020 election and what I affectionately refer to as the national schizophrenia that I brought on.
run run by serious people like Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, we're electing people who were born when the Second World War was still going. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we electing
Wait
people
a
who
minute. Were they both actually born like before the end of the war?
I wanna say Trump was
I think Trump
summer of 1945? Oh,
I'm looking it up
1946.
right.
I was off by a year.
Alright. Biden was born during the war.
Biden was born during World War II, though. Yeah,
Oh my god.
like we are electing people who were born in the Second World War or just after. Like we are electing people older than the modern Republic of Germany right now. To put that in context, we are electing people older than the fifth or the which Republic of France are we on again? Yeah, that kind of just proves the point, honestly.
And they
Yeah, no,
Well,
and
like France has
complain about
France has gone through two republics since both of the previous presidents have been born.
in fairness, like,
It is France, so that is not very a
well,
very
I was
good
gonna say
metric.
the Fourth Republic was just the Third Republic restored, but it doesn't really matter because you
I
can
mean,
just
it
replace
has a
that with
different.
the
Well,
Vichy
it has a different name, so
I'm just saying that's like you you know one you want to know what also annoys me nowadays is that like we just don't have any cool naming conventions. Like like all the naming conventions have just been like replaced with like the most like meh things. I don't know.
yeah. No, we just like
I'm trying to think of examples now because now it looks bad if I can't think of examples, but it's like I don't know. It's just like okay, maybe like January 6th might be a good example. I don't want to talk about the event itself. I'm talking about the name. It's usually people just say J6, and it's like really like this is it. This is just a date on a day and a month. Like we have
I mean, we've been
at least
using
in
that
American
naming
history.
convention since 9/11. In all fairness,
True. 9/11 should have also
but
probably
okay.
been like
To be fair,
January
9/11 is one of those events. It's like I know Britain's got one of them. I think it's like July 7th or something.
I know October 7th. I don't remember about Britain. I'm just saying you have like Shays Rebellion and the Risky Rebellion in all the American history. Keep it simple and sweet. And I mean, those they're not named. It's just like I don't know the year 1791 or something. I don't know. I can't think of. I'm blanking out just because it's like
We just do not
while I
name
think about
things
that.
like we used to. I mean,
No,
to
we
be
don't.
fair, having horrible names for things has kind of been a reoccurring thing
Oh,
throughout human history.
now I just remembered it. The whole like the rape report that came out in Britain, what was it, a few weeks ago? What I've been referring to that thing as the Law report after Rupert Law, the member of
Well,
parliament
yeah, I mean,
overseeing it.
it
I
would
mean, I don't
be
know
the
if
low report,
necessarily if
yeah.
he wants his name associated with that, but like that's what I call it. Instead of like the what was it, the 2026 UK rape
I do
report or something,
believe that
I
he
call it the Law
referred to it
report.
himself as the low report.
Well, he should. If he did, good. I think he deserves to have that thing like kind of named after him. Again, probably not the best thing to have something named after you, but that was his that was his doing.
I mean,
Putting
yeah,
that
he
together.
did call it the low report himself, but it's formerly known as the Independent Rape Gang Inquiry Report.
Yeah, that's the name of it. I don't like that name. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
You
no,
have to have a
it's
formal
like
name, but it sucks.
we just name things, huh? We just
But
name it's the most generic naming.
yeah, it's the
Like,
most generic name, and it's like that so that you forget about it.
yeah, no, it's one of those things where like everybody won't stop bringing up Jan 6, but that's because we don't frame it as we had a riot at the Capitol building. We frame it as these people tried to overthrow the government, which that's an argument that we would be more than happy to have another time. But for right now, I'm just going to give my opinion. They were not going to overthrow the government. They may have tried, but it wasn't going to happen.
If they were
If they
seriously
were
trying to
actually
overthrow the
going to try
government,
to
the
overthrow the
army would
government,
have
the
been
National
there.
Guard would have gunned them down like it was
Yeah,
Tiananmen Square.
the army would have taken care of it, just like Tiananmen Square or what other kind of like
Like
rebellions have been done?
Hungary 1956 or the Prague Spring.
If it
Yeah, the
was,
frog squid.
if it was an attempted coup, it was not a serious one.
Well, yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly.
no,
Even if it was an attempted coup, it absolutely wasn't serious. Like, what were a bunch of
this is
I'm gonna be
true.
blunt here. What were a bunch of hicks from the middle of nowhere gonna do? Let's keep it a bug, because that's what it was. It was just a
No, you're
bunch of
right.
small town people and Nick Fuentes for some reason. Still convinced that guy's a Fed, by the way.
I did.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I tweeted back in mid-May. Speaking of the five republics of France, about the several republics of the U.S. And I suggested that the first republic was George Washington through John Quincy Adams, and then the second republic was Andrew Jackson up until the Civil War, and then the third republic was the Lincolnite Republic, and the fourth republic was the Wilsonian Republic, and
what?
the Wilsonian Republic.
Wilson, okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then fifth republic was FDR until the Voting Rights Act, and then the sixth republic was post 1965.
That is a sound representation. Although I'm sure if we get into the nitty gritty of that, there would probably be a few more different eras. Like the
I
Lincolnite
think you guys
Republic,
are compounding it way too much. You guys are just trying to like cut it into like a party rule or something. Like, I mean, I can make
no, I can see it. I can see it as cutting into historical eras.
Yeah, no, yeah, but that's not like, yeah, historical eras maybe, but like you're breaking it down too much. I would say, First Republic was the damn Articles of Confederation, or just like,
Oh yeah, no, we did forget the Articles of
like
Confederation.
the
I
Declaration
left
of
that out.
Independence. But like, I would go from like Declaration of Independence to the actual Constitution, the Second Constitutional Convention, then from like George Washington to Lincoln, the Civil War, then from Lincoln to probably FDR, and then from FDR to now.
I would say Lincoln to Wilson, and then Wilson to FDR.
What did Wilson fundamentally change with the government? Go on.
No, I'm not talking about what he did to the government. I'm talking about what he did to everything else.
But then, what do you mean by everything else? What did Wilson do to fundamentally change the U.S. government? If you are breaking down American, if how we're breaking down American history is by like quote unquote government,
Income tax, prohibition, the election of senators, stuff like that. It fundamentally did change the American psyche because now senators were elected, and that's a Wilsonian thing.
And the Federal Reserve.
Oh yes, the Federal Reserve as well. Good point. I was just thinking about the amendments and stuff. But
the fourth branch of government, which Clarence Thomas debunked by saying that it's part of the executive branch, so the president has the right to dismiss members of the board of the Federal Reserve.
Yes, and the fact that we got involved in World War I, for example, is a change.
Being involved in the war does not fundamentally change our government.
That is a break in previous American policy. That's a break in previous policy.
But that doesn't break the government. That doesn't like completely redo the government. What do you mean? We had wars with like Mexico and Spain before that.
Yeah, but those were mostly localized to our continent, save for the Philippines.
Being involved with a war on the other side of the world does not in itself does not.
It is a radical change to the American psyche, not the radical change to the American government.
We're talking about like in terms of like republics, like the French Republic.
And yes, I've already said that the election of senators, income taxes, prohibition, stuff like that directly changes the American government, which is what I said.
Thing does not fundamentally shift it. I mean,
yes, it does because the Federal Reserve exists now. And the Federal Reserve, something Titanic or something. I don't know. I could ask my conspiracy uncle about that one.
It's just the central bank. I mean, we had a central bank under what was it? I don't. It was John Quincy Adams. I know
Monroe. I think it was Monroe.
Monroe. Yeah,
Jackson got rid of it.
So you've not argued that between Washington and Lincoln that no, those should be like three different American republics. Is what I said. You didn't do that when I was talking about Washington to Lincoln.
Well, here's the thing: is because that central bank had less power than the Federal Reserve does.
Yeah, the first and second national banks of the U.S. They weren't modern central banks.
Yeah, they weren't. It wasn't a modern centralized banking structure that we have in the Federal Reserve now. When you have that much money concentrated into one place, it does change politics, as does, say, the election of senators.
Well, then fine. I mean, then from Wilson to now, I'm not gonna break it up in like not even a 20-year period, because yeah, you have Wilson, then you have like 3 Republicans
Three
who
Republicans
don't
who
really
basically did
change
nothing.
anything. Yeah, basically did nothing. Then you have FDR. I'm not gonna, then I'm not gonna say that like FDR was the radical departure in like terms of like American government. Then it was Wilson. Then FDR is like a supplement of Wilson. That's all. That's my opinion. I'm not gonna
No,
break up and say
actually, you got
Wilson
a
has its
point
own
there. If
republic.
Wilson is the great divide, then FDR is meaningless when FDR basically did overhaul everything.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
I
no, it would definitely be the Lincoln Republic up till FDR, that 80-year period, and then FDR to the Civil Rights Movement, and now.
But uh, back to Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was a break with the aristocratic phase, the first aristocratic phase of the American Republic.
I
You
mean,
can
yeah,
argue,
he was
you
a
can argue
dominant.
that you can argue that the 6 first presidents, that was the natural aristocratic phase of the American Republic.
Well, yeah, because because in an American sense, if you're deeming aristocrats to be Revolutionary War heroes or descendants thereof, in the case of John Quincy Adams, then yes, you would be correct. And Andrew Jackson, I don't think fought in the American
no, he
Revolution.
did.
He might
Yeah.
have, but he was very young at the time and is more known for, say, the War of 1812, for example.
He was just like I think he was still actually a teenager in the Revolutionary War. But yeah, no, he's definitely like the second generation, like completely, not just second generation and outside of from like the founding class.
But
Oh yeah, no,
he was a
he
people's
was
president.
he was a courier in the Revolutionary War, and he was the only U.S. president to serve as a prisoner of war during the conflict.
But he was the first so-called people's president.
Yeah, no, he quite literally was the people's president. Yes, because he was a man of the people, from the people, fundamentally. So
And the first president born in a log cabin, I believe.
I want to say that was Lincoln.
No,
Maybe
I
No,
want
I think
it
it's
was him or
Jackson.
Van Buren.
Van Buren was a Dutchman. I don't think it was Van Buren.
He was born on the frontier. He wasn't born in like Amsterdam in like a fancy house.
Well, yeah, obviously he wasn't born in Amsterdam. He wouldn't be president. Oh, it was Andrew Jackson. Huh. Well, I was wrong. But yeah, no, he's not. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln's like the fourth one. Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore were also born in cabins.
You have these people now with in the era of Trump who say that, well, Trump is destroying what the founders
That
created,
he's not. He's just a symptom of it.
as if everything from the founding until up until Obama is constant, is loyal to whatever the founders created, and then
No,
all of a sudden
no,
comes
no,
Trump,
no,
and
nope.
then he destroys it all.
He's not.
No, you
He
can't.
himself is not saying that. He's saying that's the
Oh
argument coming
no, no,
from
I
people who
agree.
believe
I agree.
Trump.
I'm saying those people are wrong. I know he's not saying that. I'm saying the people who actually
What?
believe that are wrong. If anything, if you want to make that argument, you could say the modern decline of the American Republic came with you could argue Clinton, you could argue Obama, you could argue Trump. Trump won anyway. It doesn't really matter, but just it's been in the last 20 or so years.
I don't even understand. I mean, at this point, I don't even know why people are arguing like the fall and decline of like the American Republic and stuff. It's like, I mean, this has to just be us being bold with ourselves. because we've been on top for so
It,
long.
well, no, because the rise and fall. Well, yeah, no, because we're gonna have an American empire soon. That's how Rome worked. We are Rome.
That doesn't mean we're predestined to literally go through the same motions as Rome. I
Yes,
mean,
we
Rome
are.
was even
We are
predestined. You
predestined for
could have,
that.
we could have had Pompey Magnus as the first emperor of Rome, but we didn't. We ended up getting Octavian Augustus. I'm just saying, it's
Because
not
Octavian had
predestined.
plot armor.
I'm just saying, history is not predetermined. Okay, I mean, if you do, go join John Calvin in the corner.
I mean, I don't want to sit with John Calvin in the corner.
Did you guys read the letter from George III from the afterlife?
From the afterlife.
Yeah.
I've not heard of this.
One of my works.
Let me pull that up real quick and give it a quick read.
How about you tell us about it?
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Rather than Constance reading it by himself for 5 minutes on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a letter I wrote in the voice of George III, where he debunks part of the American mythology that you revolted against me, but the Parliament was a problem, and look at what the mess you're in now with this democracy, and how high are your taxes now, by the way, compared to the taxes they revolted against.
Yeah, don't even get me
It's a, it,
started on that.
it's
Oh, Lord.
it's addressed to the successors of the American Revolutionaries.
Yeah, yeah, no, we certainly do pay a lot more taxes than before.
But it's well, quote, to ourselves. So you pay
Yeah,
to
that,
yourself, so it's not a problem, right? Whereas those
I mean,
taxes back in
honestly, the taxes are going to whoever the taxes are going to whatever in whatever random country. So I mean, is it really going to
yeah.
us?
All the taxes are just being money
That's the
laundered.
illusion. That's the illusion.
You
It's
know,
based
it's
on the illusion that the government is us. So then
that
it's
letter is
okay.
a very interesting kind of like a I don't want to say like
Even
plot device, so maybe literary device, but I like the concept of it, like King George talking like from beyond through like history. You know, I like the concept of it, but like, um, what was I thinking about? I don't know. It's one of the big issues is I can't remember. It probably was the Great Depression. No, it was Nixon because we got rid. No, actually, it's two things. We got rid of the gold standard, and then we just started deficit spending.
that was the last remains of the gold standard. What Nixon got rid of was foreign central banks, the right of foreign central banks to get their gold back.
And all the gold that's supposedly still in Fort Knox, though I don't really believe it's actually there.
Like they gotta show us pictures. I mean, you know,
Yeah, no,
they can
post
do all
proof,
this other
post
stuff, but
proof.
they're not allowed to show us pictures of the gold in Fort Knox. You could First off, how would any of us even be able to verify it? You can show us it, and a lot of people might be like just like sheep enough to like just believe it. All right, yeah, that's right. That's all the gold they got there. Okay, I'm satisfied, and they could get away with it. I mean, you know, there's gonna be some people who are just not gonna believe it until they see it and touch it for themselves. Sure, but I mean, the people at Fort Knox could do themselves a lot of like could help themselves out a lot if they just gave us a picture of the gold. Don't even have to show us
But
anything else. Just show us a picture of the gold.
back up until mid-August 1971, foreign banks had the right to redeem their gold, but no one else did. No one else had that right. So it was the last remains of the gold standard. It was a quasi gold standard.
You know, the Fort Knox people were all smart though for like that because it's like now since they have everyone's gold, they can operate under the illusion that they have like almost not a monopoly, but they very much have like this massive like collection of it that theoretically can never run out because they're never gonna verify to anyone on the outside how much gold they actually have. So it's kind of like an infinite money glitch. Not that it helped not that it helps us as like the American government and people because again deficit spending, but
It's $40 trillion in debt. That's where the federal debt is at now.
yeah, I mean it
And
grows every
rapidly
minute.
climbing. I could get a federal debt counter up right now. Hold on, let me take a look at this. Oh, debt clock. Yeah. We are at 39.7 trillion USD right now. We are
Yeah,
about to hit 40.
that's great. I it's
Yeah,
so
isn't that
useless.
lovely?
That
Here's my
clock is
thing on
so
the national
useless.
debt, right? Here's my thing on the national debt. We could literally just say, "Nah, we're not paying that. What are you going to do about it? We have the largest military in the world. What are they going to do about it?"
I don't know. I guess just cancel or like no claim it maybe. They're gonna claim back the debt. I think that's the argument from the economicists. I
Okay,
agree
and
though. Like from a common man's perspective, it's nothing. It's worth nothing because we don't have like $400 trillion or something. It's never going to be paid back. So now it's just become a institution, a fair that they use to like keep everyone in line, to keep the systems going, no matter how good or bad they are. It's just a way to keep the momentum.
like we're not gonna like. Yeah, no, we are at 39.4 trillion USD. Actually, that's still a lot of money. We are never going to see that money.
No
Nobody's
one's
ever
going to see
gonna.
that money because it's all been money laundered.
Well, I mean, why is money laundering illegal exactly? Who cares where you move your money?
It's because we live in a system of like the rule of law and everything, where it's like you have to be accountable and stuff.
We live in a society, yeah.
Supposedly ruled by the rule of law. Yeah.
No. Supposedly by the people for the people. No. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Was it Mark Twain who said government for the grifter, by the grifters,
Yeah,
of the
something
grifters,
like
or
that, yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Of the grifters, by the grifters, for the grifters.
Or something, yes.
What are the prospects of the monarchists of America getting being taken seriously in American society on the proposal of replacing the republic with a monarchy?
Well, we are an advocacy group. We don't, as far as I'm aware, I have no
I'll
knowledge on what the council
I'll
actually
go right
thinks.
now is to normalize the conversation. I'll go right now
Yeah,
to
to
normalize that
open the
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah, it's a
I think
paradigm
maybe now
challenging.
We're
good
just
time to
shifting
plug
the
in our
Overton
new
window, as it
sponsor.
were.
Yeah,
Paradigm challenging. That's what you do. Paradigm challenging.
Yeah, we're opening the Overton window by force.
I was gonna say it's a good time to plug in the fact that we released a new updated version of our platform on the website, the Monarchist of America, which we will discuss within the next few episodes, depending on if we could get the main
Probably next.
architect of it.
I want to say probably next episode, but I'm not certain. I don't know.
Maybe the next episode, maybe the one after that, shortly, coming up soon. Expect that
What
episode soon.
can I argue for monarchs with real power back here in Europe? It's
But
also a paradigm challenging position. I don't expect that to be implemented anytime soon.
I think it might be worse for you guys in Europe because you, because here we basically have to start from the ground up, like, for all intents and purposes. But in Europe, you guys still have monarchies. But the issue is that they've been so captured by the current liberal democratic institutions. The idea of the king going against the current constitutional monarchy is anathema.
That
So
was it's considered let's say um, what's the word for it? Wait, they don't believe that it could ever happen, except for Liechtenstein and Monaco.
yeah, I know, I get it. I get it. You're saying, it's almost an impossibility that like Norway or Britain or whoever will like the current kings or heirs will be able to like completely deconstruct the liberal democratic institutions to like give more power back to the monarchy.
We would much prefer our monarch to have power.
No, I mean, yeah, but no one here is gonna and by here I mean the entire country. No one's gonna accept this like this great institution with all this pomp and grandeur just to do nothing, just to sit there and say, we're here, hi, that's it, ignore us.
Well, I mean, yeah, the president already sits there and does nothing, but look at his approval ratings. Let's actually take a look at his
No,
approval
no, no,
ratings.
he does stuff. He actually directs stuff. Because
Okay, but he doesn't do it well, which is arguably worse than doing nothing.
No, I'm not gonna make that argument because the U.S. president, has the power and he's currently using the power. If you want to argue if it's good or bad, that's a different conversation. But he has power and he's using it. The kings of Britain and Norway and Denmark, they don't have any power, and in some circumstances, like Norway and Sweden, they're not allowed to exercise any form of an executive power because it's held by the prime minister and parliament. I remember
Yeah,
it was actually last night. I was having a conversation with a couple other people about something very similar to this topic, and I had said to them that again, one of the big issues with Europe, like at least within the context of Europe, is that like you almost have to be against the current monarchies to be a monarchist because the current monarchies are so anti-monarchist. It's such a bizarre paradox, but
mhm.
that's why what that paradox is why I have no personal loyalty to any of these current or former royal houses. I mean, again, part of that's because I'm American. I don't have like, any loyalty to them inherently to begin with, but like they don't do anything. But the Windsors, the Habsburgs, the Gluckburgs, they just sit around and they take pride in, yeah, we are the royal family of X country, but you don't do anything else.
Like he reigns, but he doesn't rule, and that's kind of the issue.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
there was this issue with the October 7 incident in Israel, and the King of Norway was advised not to offer Israel his condolences.
well, that's well, I mean, if you're using an example of like the king being powerless, I mean, yeah, that's a good example. But no, yeah, that's the only reason why you would bring it up. Bringing it up, like, I mean, unless you want to talk about the whole like a Muslim invasion of Western Europe, but like, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a different conversation for
I mean,
another day.
I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah, probably best not to talk about it now.
All right, I think
You
it's
have,
about time to end.
but you have these the possibility of a moderating influence behind closed doors. It's
What do you mean by that?
you have these badged rights of the monarch, the right to be consulted, the right to encourage, and the right to warn. And the monarch can, behind closed doors, warn against certain policies, and in that sense, have a moderating influence on government.
I mean,
And
yeah, but
and
they don't
also
have
and
to.
also and also when the highest formal position is occupied, the the prime minister cannot, which often may have monarchical ambitions, uh, that top position is not available to him. And I don't know if you've seen this video clip from of Jordan Peterson from a meeting he had in Manchester on September 8th, 2022, on the day of the Queen's passing. And
Hmm.
he described the meeting, the audience, the weekly audiences between the British Prime Minister and
Hello?
his monarch as the Prime Minister coming to this confession session, and that the monarch could have even a humiliating uh, influence on the prime minister.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie,
But
my internet cut off for a couple minutes. I didn't hear what he was saying.
I think that would be a good sentiment to end the show on. Mostly because it is now 3 o'clock Eastern and I have stuff to do. I'm going to cut that out. This being said, for those of you new, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter. I think we do the podcast on Spotify, stuff like that. And if you guys could join me in prayer, that would be lovely. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And